Holy flippin' spit, you guys! Hail, good citizens, fellow Americans, brothers and sisters from sea to shining sea. I am Will DeWitt with Constitutional Warriors, and I bid you welcome to Week 6 of Re-Election Day! So, with all that's going on in the news with the presidential election, and all of the legal drama that's ensuing, the back and forth, the video footage of midnight ballot counting, with all the news of new lockdowns in the big coastal cities while we see the elites living out the adage, rules for thee but not for me, dining in restaurants, hosting parties, traveling, all the while we're supposed to sit alone in our homes, impoverished and afraid. News of possible vaccines, but no assuaging of fears about mandating their use or of potential punishments for those who question the vaccines. More divide between the two political parties, as well as division within the parties, as old establishment elites try to fend off the next generation of frustrated constitutionalists and radical deconstructionists, each clawing and scrapping to establish a further foothold within the oligarchy of the crony Democrats and rhino Republicans. There's just not enough time to get into the weeds on each of these topics. Besides, most of you already know these stories just as well as I do. You're all smart. You have your ear to the ground and your finger on the pulse of the social zeitgeist at least as well as I do, if not better. So, what should I talk about today? Truth. That's what we're really fighting for. We're tired of politicians, the media, the big tech companies all blatantly lying to our faces and expecting us to comply with their directives. We're tired of being told that what we see with our eyes and hear with our ears and know from common sense has to be debunked and fact-checked and dismissed as conspiracy theory. We're sick of being told that we have to shutter our businesses and go broke while Walmart and Amazon rake it in, that we can't go to church, but we can go to strip clubs, that the president who got record primary votes, had record enthusiasm, had sold-out rallies, who broke records, lost the election to an old establishment wiener who can't speak coherently, who did almost no campaigning, who couldn't get 50 people to a rally, who somehow not only beat President Trump, but even outdid his two predecessors, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, to find out that it only happened in the 4 cities where we are now finding evidence of electoral shenanigans. All of these instances of falsehood at the highest levels of our society sickens our souls and makes us cry out for something true and authentic. Let me wax theological for a moment. Why is it that truth is so vital and falsehood so deleterious to our social fabric? It's common sense that we all try to make sense of the world around us, and that while we can at times be mistaken about our perceptions, that is far more correctable than having our perceptions deliberately deceived by bad actors and being gaslit about it to boot. Such a world is no fun to navigate. But it's deeper than that. Falsehood has a tendency to break down reality. Let me explain. The Christian God has a formal name that in English translates to I am. He is who is. All caps is. He exists, and he brought all things into existence by speaking them. Do you see the connection between speaking and being? For the God who is, whatever he says also is. Now, look at the devil who, as the serpent in the garden, introduced the opposite of speaking what is not. In consequence, humanity was deceived, paradise was lost, and all the cosmos was damaged by the fall, with death and suffering becoming a part of everyday life ever since. The devil is the father of lies. He speaks what is not as though it is, while God only speaks what is, meaning what is true. Bring it back to current year, and it shouldn't be hard to figure out why 2020 has been nothing but chaos. Sure, COVID and an election year on their own are events that can bring about tremendous chaos with no extra help at all. But we still don't have a straight story about the origins of the virus. We are told, trust the science. But for every scientist that weighs in on masks, on hydroxychloroquine, on a vaccine, on shutdowns, there's another scientist with an opposing opinion based on his own qualifications. Why is it that one opinion gets the official stamp and another is labeled quackery? Why has 2 weeks to slow the curve turned into at least 2 years of shut up, stay home, and wear the flopping mask or we'll flop and destroy you? Why did the 2 Navy hospital ships and all the temporary hospitals go unused while carriers of the disease were sent to nursing homes to infect those most vulnerable to it? And the election? Oh, I can't do any better or be any more succinct than to quote Candace Owens. You don't destroy ballots, refuse audits, and have big tech censor your citizens because you acted honestly. The American election was clearly rigged. The bigger question is whether or not this was the first time. Well, that's all we have time for today. Folks, if you're interested in learning more about us, check out the links below. I'm Will DeWitt, Constitutional Warriors. Help your neighbors and pray for America.